Alright, so I'm really excited to talk about Alex Garland's second film, Annihilation. Now, Alex Garland, I did see Ex Machina, and that was one of my favorite films of that year that it came out. And I thought that this movie, just like Ex Machina, is really, really fantastic. And it took me a while to gather it up in my brain, like this movie, because this movie is a very thought-provoking movie. This movie is not an easy read. And I really love that. I love when movies do that. And I love how you really look at this movie from it doesn't answer a lot of these questions. It just gives you ideas and you have to think of them for yourself. And I think that that's really cool, and I think that that to me makes the movie way more entertaining and more interesting and a better movie because of that. And I think that this does a fantastic job of that. And this movie, to me, in a way, I think is a great example of being this generation's 2001 A Space Odyssey. And that sounds weird if you haven't seen it. Um, but I feel like just the experience and the scope of this movie, I think, is really cool. And it reminded me of 2001 A Space Odyssey in a weird way, and it's hard to explain, but it reminded me of that in a way where it was just so unique. It was such an interesting thing that you have not seen before, and this to me just is great. Like, I love how horrifying this movie is too. This movie has genuinely great scares in this movie. There's one scene which I won't spoil, but I'll say with one of the creatures, where there's something that this creature does, and I thought it might have been done in a movie before, but this creature had one of the most unique abilities, and it made it terrifying. I really thought that was great, that using that as a great scare. And I think that the movie is, as a whole, just a haunting movie. It never feels light, except for like in a flashback scene. But for the most part, it feels very dreary and very dark. But it's not dreary in a way where it's bad. It's dreary in a way where it's like you are fearful for these characters, and you are fearful for what this beyond is that they're going in, and the shimmer where the laws of physics are not applying. It's all this weird stuff is happening. And I think that a movie like this that can have that kind of premise but still be fantastic as a movie is really a great thing about this movie, because this movie is so interesting and so unique, and it doesn't give all the questions for you, or all the answers for you. It gives you a lot of questions, but it doesn't feel like you're cheated on. It feels like it's just one of those thinkers. And I love whenever movies do that. I love whenever movies don't treat you like you're young, like you're a kid. They treat you like you're stupid. They treat you like, or this one treats you like you have to decide this stuff for yourself, what the real truth of the matter is with all this stuff in the movie. And I think that the movie as a whole is just like Ex Machina, just a fantastic watch. Definitely one that you have to see in the theater. I think that this, going back to 2001: A Space Odyssey, this reminds me of that in terms of that should be a movie that you should see in theaters. Even though I haven't seen 2001 in theaters, but I would like to one day. But this reminded me of that, where the scope and the visuals and the score, I think, make this something to be a must see in the theater. And in the U.S., we have it in theaters, and I think Netflix and a lot of other places, Netflix is where it's gonna be at. But in where I live, it's not. It's not on Netflix; it's in theaters, and I think that this is definitely worth seeing in theaters, and for the visuals and the score alone. So, and I just think that everything is really, really, really great about this movie. The performances are great, the scares are great, the visuals are great, the score is great, the scares are unique. The movie is unique, and I think that really is what I should end on, and that is that the movie is a very unique film that is definitely worth seeing, but definitely worth seeing in the theater.